first question really is, what made you want to bring back your solo stuff?
Well, it's a good question actually. If and I always say if there's no regrets, and I'm very happy with my career,
Hmm.
with all the other projects that I've been privileged to be part of, and great time. But if I could change anything, I would change that. I would pay attention to my solo thing
Hmm.
a little more because I love it and I dig it, and the response has been absolutely over the top.
Hmm.
So, uh, well, actually, I've been a busy guy, so eventually, no matter how busy you get with all these big bands,
Hmm.
um, there's downtime. There's a lot of downtime, and I'm one of those guys not to lay around and wait around too long. I love what I
Yeah.
do. So I'm always looking to put things together. If there's nothing else cooking, if there's no plan B or C, I put it together. And that's what started happening pretty much. But this is years ago.
Hmm.
I always had an outlet to kind of stretch out as a bass player and as a singer, improvisational stuff and even what's considered jazz funk,
Hmm.
whatever you want to call it,
Hmm.
just to keep learning and challenge yourself and moving around. But the first album that I did, Live for Tomorrow on Frontiers, came out of the time when I was working with Whitesnake.
Hmm.
I would get off the Whitesnake tour and then do Thin Lizzy and Ted Nugent, and for quite a while. Uh, and so there was some time off, and Frontiers approached me to do something, and I took the opportunity to work with Richie Kotzen, which is great. He's
Hmm.
amazing, amazing talent and great guy. Him and I get along. We're friends. I'm a big fan of his, actually.
Yeah.
He's great. Um, so the chance came up, and we got into the studio. I think it was like 15 days. We did the first album, and to my surprise, the response was good.
Hmm.
Of course, I didn't support it. That was a big mistake on my
Hmm.
behalf. But I was busy touring with Whitesnake and doing all the other stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's just say the time wasn't right for me to support my first solo album.
Hmm.
I did decide to do some dates when I had an opening, and I had some offers to go out and support the album. And But that was like 2 years after.
Yeah.
So it came out. It did what it did. It got on the radar a little bit, and then it disappeared. And of course, I'm doing everything else. And my manager at the time, who passed away, he convinced me. He says, "Let's just do a CD release party. Let's have the label re-release it
Hmm.
and do something like so." It got a little traction, and let's just say, I had a good time.
Hmm.
I had such a good time, and I realized that there was an audience for it. That there was people out there that were interested in what I was doing as a solo artist.
Yeah, definitely.
So that was it. And then the next album was Casa Mendoza on Mascot. The same thing happened. I was busy with many other projects, juggling,
Hmm.
and I had an opening, and we got it together. We released it, and again, I didn't support it. It came in. I mean, it came out, and then it disappeared. This last album, I was really busy with the Dead Daisies, and there was an opening, and I got a meeting with Target, Mighty
Hmm.
Music, and I liked what we were talking about. We agreed on a lot of points, and we found the time. And I went to Copenhagen and started writing with my buddy Soren Anderson, and before you know it, I mean, we had the album Viva la Rock, and for some reason, when it got released, it just got the write-ups were really good,
Hmm.
really positive, really encouraging. And so I decided, well, I have some time. Back in 19 is when I dedicated most of the year to doing my supporting my last album, Viva
Yeah.
la Rock.
Yeah.
So when you do that, obviously the response is going to be better because now you're representing the album live,
Hmm.
and it promotes it, and it's that thing, that one thing leads to the other. And so 19, I must have done, I don't know how many shows, a lot of shows all over the planet. And so I got on the radar.
Hmm.
I got invited through my agency in Germany to do this, to go here, do that. A lot of festivals for 20. cruises, the whole thing, and then we know what happened. So we fell apart, and so now last year, October, November, I did a little bit of a run, and we're pretty much, Joe, we're pretty much picking up the pieces where it left off.
Exactly. Trying to catch up again.
Try to catch, and then so also the other thing that got postponed was the release of my next album with Target, which is finally going to come out this year. We're aiming for August and the latest September if things go well. But the first single is coming out April 13th. So I'm excited. Yeah.
I'll definitely get that on the calendar.
So I'm excited about that, and there seems to be a buzz out there. You know, when I announce the dates in the UK.
Yeah, definitely.
And it always happens, man. Always happens. I announce dates in the UK, and then the rest of Europe starts knocking. Why don't you come here? Why don't you come there? And what started to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 gigs, and it ended up being 30 something, and there's more coming in.
Oh wow!
So we're gonna be really active. April, May, June, July. I'm thinking about August. I'm getting invited to come to the US, South America for August, and then back out there in September, and so on and so forth. So it's all good, brother. I'm having a blast. I'm excited, Joe, to come out and play again. As you can imagine, somebody like me, I've been very lucky where I get off one project, one tour, one album, and then I jump into the other one, and the other one. So the pandemic kind of killed that whole thing, right? It's like, wow, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I'm excited like a little kid, and can't wait to get out there. You know?
Nice. Good to hear it.
Yeah. So where are you in the UK?
So Nottingham, I think.
Oh yeah,
looking at
Nottingham.
Looking at coming to the Sheffield date. I think
that's what I was trying to figure out. What the closest thing? Nottingham, Sheffield. How long of a distance is it there?
Probably an hour's drive. Not.
Yeah. Are you in the city, close to city center?
Yeah, it's probably the closest one to us. Yeah.
Man, one thing about Rock City, and I played there many times, is how sticky the floor is.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? All the time as well.
For years. And I don't think that it would be the same if they cleaned it or whatever they changed.
No, exactly.
That.
It's part of the charm.
It's part of it. It is. Yeah. And there's a real cool, funky thing going on when you walk into that venue because it's been around forever. I really dig it. It never fails. There are always great shows. Always. Nottingham, man, it's a trip. It's very cool. But unfortunately, you know, I haven't gotten any offers to go there. So maybe, hopefully, in the near future, we'll do that. Yeah. Maybe when the album comes out, we're gonna try and do quite a few more dates in the UK.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
sounds good.
Doing some festivals coming out there. So yeah, it'll be cool.
Oh, nice.
Salud.
So how did the lineup for the tour come about? Has it been in the works for a while, or and obviously you're working with a couple of things?
Yeah, I got really lucky that I hooked up with Tommy Gentry, and whose gig is Gun. You know, he's really busy with that and other things. Through Kyle Hughes. Kyle Hughes I met through Mickey McChrystal. So it's just one of those things, word of mouth. We get introduced, and then we said, you know, they sent me videos and check this out. This is what I've been doing. And you know, Kyle's been coming. He did some stuff with Bumblefoot.
Oh yeah.
When he was with GNR, and I love his playing, and I love his heart. I love who he is as a person. He's a young lad, but very hungry, and plays with fire, sings great, and he really pays attention to what my vision is on stage, you know, which is very cool. I get along with, as a bass player, you know, drummers are kind of important to me, very important.
Yeah.
And then Kyle just kills it, man. He's and then Tommy just kills it as a guitar player and also as a human being. We all get along really well, really, really well. Unfortunately, you know, they're talented folks, so they get pulled away, and they're doing other prior commitments and all that. So I'm happy and lucky to have them here in the UK dates. And then they're going to be, I'm juggling that right now. I'm getting a bunch of things together so that people can come in and out and do the thing.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Because the reality is my solo project, as much as I hate to admit it, it's still in its infant stages. You know, it's still, I'm still trying to build something, build the blocks. And I think after this year and the album comes out, if everything lines up and we do well on the live shows, it's gonna go to the next level.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'd say
I'm
so.
doing that right now. There's a big business side to the whole thing, bro. And so you got to pay attention to that. So I'm in the process of doing that now that the doors seem to be opening up more and more. So that's how I came across with the cats. But that's how it is everywhere I go. You know, I've been getting people getting in touch for years that they want to play and they want to come here and do this and do that. They send me, you know, YouTube vids and all that. And there's quite a few cats out there. So it's always exciting.
Yes.
Because you find some big talents out there, you know.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
very cool. And then they move on to bigger and better things. And so it's good to know that you kind of participated in that in a little way or whatever. So yeah, it's all good. But that's how it is. It's ever changing right now until it gets to the next level and I can address that when the time comes.
Yeah. Cool. So is it a different approach that you take kind of going into a tour with your solo project as it is, you know, say going on tour with Whitesnake or Thin Lizzy or, you know, something like that? Does it, I imagine it feels different, but.
Well, it feels very different in the way that it's a lot of responsibility. And fronting the band, being the singer for the band, and also standing behind your own music, you know.
Yeah.
But like I said, you know, I do it because I still love it, Joe. I really, really love it. I still, after so many years, I love the challenge. I love the whole dynamics of writing a song, recording it, and putting it out there, and people digging it, and then you show up at wherever you're at on the planet, and they learn the lyrics and they love the song, they sing along. I mean, there's nothing like that ever. So I love that side of it. And when I'm the other thing that's very true about my solo thing is I have a little more, not a lot, but a little more control over what happens on stage and how we deliver the shows and the message. I always insist on carrying some kind of positive message, you know, something that's uplifting and proactive and so that's the thing, man. Something that's very optimistic, especially now what's going on the planet, man. There's some heavy stuff going down. So it's very important that you're there to kind of have your fans and your friends show up, the audience show up, and kind of be able to escape for a few hours, you know, and get away from the everyday living. You know, sometimes it gets heavy. Right now, we've been experiencing a lot of heavy stuff in the past couple of years. So that's the other thing that's very rewarding to me when I always insist on doing meet and greets, and when I get people coming around and say, Marco, thank you so much for coming here. You know, I've been struggling a little bit with this and that, and you put a smile on my face. It's very healing. I'm gonna go out there, make a difference. I'm like, wow, you know. Those are the important things beyond all the business and all the stuff that comes along with being a musician. That's the rewarding stuff that stays with you, and you know, and it fuels you to keep going. You know, I get a lot of those, to be honest. So yeah, it's very cool, man. So it's very different in that. Also, the other side, when you're part of a collaborative situation, there's always a boss. There's the last, you know, the guy that made, you know, that calls all the shots, and there's a big team because it's a big budget situation. Most recently, I did a run with Journey, and everything's handled, man. Everything from the travel to the hotels, to your food,
Yeah,
to
exactly. You
rehearsals,
just show
to
up,
my
play.
basses. I just show up, they hand me the bass and you
Yeah.
play. So in that regard, it's and the same thing with Whitesnake and Thin Lizzy. We always
Mm,
have texts. And so here it's, you're down to, you're pretty much at ground level and doing anything and everything you can to put it together. It's a
yeah.
big part of the whole
Mm,
process. So a little responsibility, but I'm up for it. That's where I came from, and I love doing it. And I don't think I'll ever stop doing it.
yeah.
As long as I can, I can pull it off, I will.
Mm,
When you love something so much, you can't stop.
yeah,
You can't
exactly.
stop.
Mm,
So
mm. So obviously you've mainly come to talk about your solo project, but is there anything you can tell me about Iconic? I know I keep seeing
yeah,
the odd video bit going up, and
yeah, uh, that seems to be getting a lot of buzz, and
mm,
that project got together originally, from what I hear, Joel Hoekstra, Nathan James, and Michael Sweet
mm,
had it. They all work for Frontiers. They have their solo projects and
yeah,
their band projects, and so we have that in common. I also work with Frontiers. I've done quite a few projects there. It's a great label,
mm,
great guys. I know Serafino for years and Mario, who are the big guys on top.
yeah,
And so I've done quite a few things with them. And I got a call saying, "Hey, this is during the pandemic. I think at the end of 20,
okay,
when we finally realized that the world was not going to open for another
well, yeah,
long time. They were putting projects together because they realized that there was a lot of us cats, musicians, hanging out.
mm,
So they approached me and said, we're doing this thing with these guys. Would you consider being the bass player? And absolutely, I heard the names. These are all cats that are on top of their game,
yeah,
great players,
mm,
the whole thing. I knew Joel. I knew Nathan. Michael, I had met him here and there at festivals, but
mm,
I really didn't get to know him until recently. Great guy, great talent, amazing. Uh, so they called me and they said, well, the guys would love to have you, and but we don't have a drummer. What do you think? Who would you like to call or
yeah,
recruit for the project? And I thought of quite a few cats, and everybody seemed to be tied up. I knew they were tied up doing other things, except Tommy he's always busy too, doing a
mm,
lot of stuff. But I called him and I ran that by him, and he seemed to be very interested. So two and two, you know, happened, and he signed up. So
mm,
it's a great bunch of cats, big profiles, big resumes. You know, the
mm,
credits are amazing.
yeah,
The history, the whole thing, and the music is very good. And we got together not too long ago here in LA to
mm,
shoot some videos to
oh, cool,
release. So I got to say, the energy in the room and how we all got along, and the common denominator with all the cats, and I'll include myself in that group. It's at the end of the day, it's about the music.
yeah,
It's about
yeah,
uh,
definitely,
and the songs are amazing. Alessandro Del Vecchio was the producer and the songwriter with the guys,
mm,
and so yeah, we're kind of excited. There's nothing more I can say other than stay tuned.
yeah,
There'll be more stuff coming out, and hopefully, if things lined up, we'll have a tour
mm,
scheduled. I don't know when or where because everybody's busy, but
yeah,
soon,
yeah,
sooner
that'd be
than
cool,
sooner than we expect. So just stay tuned. It's a great band. It's going to
mm,
go out there and kill, and do really well, no doubt.
no, yeah,
So the fans, you see their response, man. It's just,
yeah,
when you
immediately,
get
yeah,
that kind of response, it's a given that it's going to succeed in so
yeah,
many ways. So, and I can't wait to get on the road and perform live with the guys.
mm,
So, yeah, Nathan is an amazing singer, and Michael is just wow.
yeah,
And I sing a little bit, so I could throw in some BVs here and there, and have
yeah,
fun. So it's cool. It's all good. I'm excited
mm,
about it. Another iron in the fire, my brother.
yes, yeah, exactly.
And there's yeah, so excited about that. But right now, my focus is my solo stuff and
Yeah, definitely.
my next single, my next album, and there's a few other projects that I got asked not to talk about because they're pretty big.
Okay.
And when they do announce it, it's going to be they want to do the proper press release and all that, and
Yes.
come out,
Yeah.
come out with a bang.
Okay.
So always, I'm very grateful, man. And I know I mentioned it and I talk about it a lot, but my better days are when I have the attitude and of gratitude in me,
Yeah.
and everything just flows because I understand that it's all a gift. So everything falls into place the way it will, and acceptance and tolerance is part of who I am in a big way. When I get out of that box is when I have issues. Trying to change things that you can't change, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've learned that in being so many years in the industry, music industry. You learn to just go with the flow, let it flow, baby. I have a song on my last album about that came out of that. That was the premise, and so it's all good, bro. Really, really good. I can't tell you how cool it is to have you guys do this because you're a big part of the bigger picture now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even more so than before. So thank you for your time.
No, it's all right.
I appreciate it. Appreciate it.
That's good fun.
So,
So what would you make of the kind of state of the music industry right now? I know over here it's picking itself up okay, at least live, but
yeah, I've seen it suffer so much. That's such a long conversation, right? But
yeah.
let's just say that the music industry, generally speaking, we took the biggest hit
Yeah.
during the pandemic.
Yeah.
For a lot of reasons. The fact that, we're dependent, this is how we live, this is our livelihood. And in the bigger picture, you have a lot of, you have a lot of staff, you have a lot of people behind the scenes with the bigger projects that really got hit hard, I don't know how to explain it, put into words. So the strongest survive, obviously, and come out, with a little bit of struggle, you come out the other side. And it's good to see that it's starting to pick up, that the restrictions are being lifted.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of hope in the air, the light at the end of the tunnel is getting bigger, which is cool. And so, yeah, man, it's getting better. I don't know what's going to happen these next couple of years. The recording side of it, it's come down. It's gotten so beat up when the digital world, kicked in.
Exactly.
The technology kicked in. It just disappeared, man. But people like me, we love what we do. I'm not about to stop.
No. Yeah.
As long as I can put two and two together and have the energy and be physically fit to go out there and do it, however big or small, I'm going to do it. And there's a lot of us around that love what we do. So between that and the fans, which is a big fact, the fans need to support the venues and the local bands and all that, because it all triggers everything else. It creates that effect.
Yeah.
So I think it's getting better. We'll see what the next couple of months bring, and the end of the year, and hopefully 23 will go back to as normal as we can.
Yeah. Crossed.
So yeah, as you can tell, the community, I'm in touch with, tons of people in the business. Yeah, we're getting back to working again. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to be proactive, positive as possible, and optimistic as possible. But you always, I like to say, man, you'll always prepare for the worst. Always prepare for the worst.
Yeah.
And pray for the best to happen. It's all there. So that's my my mantra, man. I try to.
It's a good way of looking at it. Definitely.
Yeah. So
And then kind of finally to finish on a slightly cheerier note, if you could kind of book your own dream tour lineup, have you got anyone that immediately springs to mind with you? Or
Oh my gosh. Wow. There's a lot of departed folks, right?
mm,
Um, I gotta say, man, I'm a big Beatles fan, and I'm a big Paul McCartney fan,
yeah,
and John Lennon and George and Ringo. They they left such a deep mark in who I am and wanting to be a musician when I was a kid and all
mm,
that. So I would definitely have Paul McCartney somewhere, either singing, playing bass, guitar, whatever, and
mm,
I could play a little bit of guitar. He would be part of that. Steven Tyler would be part of that. I'm a big fan of his,
mm,
and Aerosmith and the Boys.
mm,
Huge fan. We got to tour with them, and it was a great experience.
mm,
Uh, so many cats. Jimmy Page,
yeah,
our plant. I'm talking about the cats that are still around. Tommy Aldrich is definitely there. Neil
mm,
Sean on the guitar, John Sykes, uh, and so on and so forth, bro. It's such a, that's such Greg Raleigh on the
mm,
B3, and also Dean Casanova singing and playing drums.
mm.
So it would be like 30 folks
Yeah, exactly.
on the road taking
Yeah,
taking turns,
yeah,
because I've had the experience of playing with a lot of these cats, and it's always such a blast, man.
mm,
And I have to pinch myself, look around and go, wow, look at where I'm at, Nugent, also Ted. I mean, wow, what an inspirational cat
mm,
he is. The years that I spent with him was definitely a highlight.
mm,
My time with David Coverdale with Whitesnake and
yeah,
Phil in it.
mm,
So there you go. It's like there's so much going on. And Dolores O'Riordan from the Cranberries.
yeah,
I got to work with her. We
oh,
did
nice.
a few albums,
Mm,
solo albums, and that was a great experience. So I've had one of those careers, man, all over the place, and very grateful.
mm,
What an opportunity, and what a, yeah, man. It's what an honor, right?
yeah,
And
definitely.
when I do interviews, I think about that. I'm going, is that me that I'm talking about? Wow. Seriously, I'm not kidding you.
Mm,
Because you kind of distance yourself from the things you've done in the past. Not that you
yeah,
forget, but you don't talk about it all the time. I kind of don't dig that, to be honest.
mm,
And you have to do it. I know it's part of the interview and all that. You have to drop names, where you've been, what you've done,
yeah,
where you going and all that. I understand. But my experience with Journey was unbelievable.
mm,
Most recently, we had some amazing shows, and the music, man, is just legendary
yeah,
songwriting and incredible stuff. So I had a little run with them, and it was great. Uh, there's so many.
yeah,
There's so many. So, but yeah, like I said, it would be probably like two buses of people. Well,
yeah,
comfortably, you want to have not more than 5 people per bus. So it would be like 4 or 5 buses traveling.
yeah. Then you got all the equipment as well, and
Well, that's another story. Then
yeah,
then semis filled with equipment, but that would be amazing, right?
mm,
Yeah, it's one of those things. But yeah, I've had a great journey in this business of music, what we do.
mm,
But right now, I'm looking forward to coming to the UK.
mm,
I'm
yeah,
looking forward
definitely,
to playing the bass guitar show in Liverpool, and
yeah,
that's going to be on the 2nd, I believe. I'm looking at the calendar. Yeah, April 2nd, and then we're coming back to Newcastle. And so, are you coming to Sheffield, Yorkshire men? How do you say it?
yes, I think it will be, yeah,
Yorkshire men?
yes,
Is that how you say it? Yorkshire men,
yeah,
or
yeah, Yorkshire,
is Yorkshire men?
yeah, that'll be it,
Yorkshire. So the E is silent. I apologize.
yeah,
I've been
for some
coming
reason,
for so long, and there's so many different dialects,
yeah,
accents within the UK. So the E is silent. It's Yorkshiremen
I
in
think so,
Sheffield.
yeah,
Oh, hope you come out, man. Hope you can see me
yeah,
there.
looking forward to it.
let me know, okay?
Yeah, we'll do.
Yeah. So, salud.
Yeah.